Do you hope Democrats keep control of the House and Senate?
I think people are sick and tired of politics, Chuck. I really do. I think they're sick and tired of Democrats and Republicans fighting and feuding and holding pieces of legislation hostage because they didn't get what they wanted or something, or someone might get credit for something. Why don't we start doing something for our country? Why don't we just say, this is good for America?
It seems to me he was talking about himself. But what you also heard in that interview was Democratic Senator Joe Manchin really hesitating to say whether or not he wants his own political party to keep its control of Congress. I can't believe he said it. We're gonna get it for you because it's absolutely crazy. People, this is why it is critical for Democrats to expand their majorities if they want to see consequential changes. And it's not just congressional races you need to worry about. So let's get into it. We're going to talk with reporters beyond the Beltway for today's political panel. Maya King covers politics in the South for the New York Times. John Ralston is an MSNBC political analyst and CEO of the Nevada Independent. And Lauren Gibbons is a political reporter for Bridge, Michigan. Welcome, welcome, welcome to you all. I'm very excited about this. As a recovering political strategist, this is everything for me. So, John, you are the man with the plan in Nevada, so let's talk United States Senate. Democratic incumbent Catherine Cortez Masto, she's fighting to keep her seat against a challenge from Republican nominee Adam Laxalt. Now, Catherine Cortez Masto even got some support from some Republicans. So could she really be less vulnerable than we thought she would be?
Well, she's vulnerable, Simone, as you know, as all Democratic senators or even governors in swing states are. She is, as you know, not an attention seeker. She is the classic example of a workhorse and not a show horse. And she learned from the person whose seat she took, Harry Reid, how to raise money. And so she's raised a ton of money. And, Adam Laxalt is a terrible candidate. He's totally unimaginative. He was the biggest proponent of the big lie in this state. All he can talk about is woke, leftist, whatever is the latest issue that'll get him on Tucker Carlson's show. But that shows where we are today, Simone, and that a guy like Adam Laxalt, who is a terrible candidate, is within the margin of error in a lot of the polls out here.
I think that terrible candidates for my Republican friends this cycle in the Senate is a pattern here. Let's go to Georgia, Maya. Now, Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock is going to face off against the Republican nominee for Senate, Herschel Walker. I do not think that the Republicans brought their best here for this race. Tell us what we should know about the state of the race and about voters in the South more broadly.
Well, the message on that Senate race, particularly from Senator Warnock, has been that Herschel Walker, who is a very popular, all-important figure in football in the state, is not exactly ready or prepared to serve in the United States Senate, that he is very untested and perhaps has a lot of dominance on the football field, but might not actually be able to deliver when it comes to actually legislating in one of the highest centers of government in the country. Voters are paying attention to this race in particular, in addition to the governor's race. And one of the central questions here has been, how this ticket will really shake out, whether we'll have a scenario in which Governor Brian Kemp possibly defeats Stacey Abrams, but Raphael Warnock, the Democrat, still wins as an incumbent, or if Democrats make a total sweep, thus proving that 2020, with Joe Biden's wins and Warnock and Senator Ossoff's wins, were not just a one-off or a fluke or something driven by anti-Trump sentiment, but proof that the South is up for grabs for Democrats, particularly in Georgia, where we're seeing all kinds of voter mobilization efforts and, of course, lots and lots of money being poured into the efforts to be able to turn out voters and keep Georgia, maybe not blue, but definitely purple.
Yes, as some of the young people would say, the candidates are definitely in their bags. Let's talk gubernatorial elections. And Lauren, I want to bring you in here because I want to talk Michigan, because Tudor Dixon is really hoping that she's going to be the one to take on Democratic incumbent Gretchen Whitmer. Now, a lot of strategists who are not on the ground across the country that I've spoken to think that this could put Governor Whitmer on the path to re-election. You are someone who has covered this race in Michigan. So what's your view?
Yeah, Tudor Dixon recently earned the endorsement of former President Trump, and she previously lined up endorsements from influential conservatives around the state, such as the DeVos family. The Right to Life of Michigan had endorsed her as well. That said, this has been a very crowded primary race, a lot of political newcomers in this race, and that means a lot of voters, even up to last week, are still trying to decide who to vote for here. And going up against Governor Whitmer, who has a formidable campaign fundraising war chest, and has basically been making her pitch to voters this entire time. It's going to be a tough battle for whoever comes out of the primary to go up against an incumbent here.
Maya, I want to ask you about Stacey Abrams' strategy. She has been spotlighting policy conversations with black male voters in Georgia. She did a 45-minute talk at a cigar bar earlier this month, actually. Do you think that this focus on black male voters could make a difference in this race?
I believe it will. We know that in competitive states like Georgia, races are won on the margins. And that means that it's going to probably come down to single percentage points, which means that campaigns like Abrams have to focus on particular groups that they know they will absolutely need in high percentages to be able to win outright. Black men are absolutely part of that calculus. Looking at 2016 and even 2020, there were some openings with Republicans with black men, not huge ones, maybe less than 10%. Former President Trump, making some inroads with that demographic. I think that the Abrams campaign saw that and said that we cannot let the same thing happen here in Georgia, again, where these races are just going to come down to particular groups. And in addition to black men, the campaign has really been focusing on moderate and independent suburban white women, particularly with this issue of abortion and the Supreme Court's ruling, sort of making access to abortion almost non-existent in Georgia with a subsequent law that's just taken place. The campaign, and a number of Democratic campaigns for that matter, really see an opening with that group to chip away.
Yeah. I mean, I have a Suburban Moms panel later in the show and from across the country, and we're going to ask them about that very issue. John, the last word on this is going to go to you because it is not just black male voters. The Democratic Party has also struggled with Latino male voters. We know that Latinos are going to be key in Nevada. Talk to me about Latino male voters and the impact that they could have, not just on the governor's race, but down ballot, the Senate race, Attorney General. I know Aaron Ford seems to be all right, though. I don't know.
Well, I'm not sure he's all right, although he's running against a real fringe candidate. But that's the real danger, Simone, and that's why the Democrats here are focused on trying to stanch some of the hemorrhaging among Hispanic voters that have been key here in Nevada. We have had a surge in Hispanic voting since 2008 when Barack Obama won the state and won Hispanics by about a 3-to-1 margin, and that has continued up through Hillary Clinton until Donald Trump did better, although he lost the state against Joe Biden. There are efforts going on here by the Democrats to kind of revive the base voters in the Hispanic cohort to try to get them to turn out. There's a lot of Spanish language TV, but on the other hand, Republicans see an opportunity here, right, to try to grab Hispanic voters using Biden's poor approval rating here, inflation, gas prices, all the issues you would expect. And so that is a real challenge. If the Democrats can revive the Hispanic base, they should be all right. But if not, there could be that red wave.
A lot of maybes, a lot of ifs. Maya King, John Ralston, Lauren Gibbons, thank you all very much.